Children don't vanish quietly. They cry, they panic, they make noise, until one day, there's only silence. On July 10, 2015, 2-year-old DeOrr Kunz Jr. disappeared in broad daylight from Timber Creek Campground in Lemhi County, Idaho. Years later, the case remains unsolved, with no arrest and no charges publicly filed. Timber Creek is described as remote, with rugged terrain, thick brush, and water nearby. It's the kind of place where you think you'd notice a child moving away, until you don't. That trip included DeOrr's parents, Jessica Mitchell and Vernal DeOrr Kunz. Also present were DeOrr's great-grandfather, Robert Walton, and a family friend, Isaac Rainvan. The group left Idaho Falls on July 9, 2015, and arrived at the campground after dark. Everyone settled in for the night, expecting an ordinary camping weekend. The next morning, Rainvan later said he saw DeOrr at breakfast, wearing large cowboy boots and clumping around the campsite. It's a small detail, but it anchors the day in something real and normal. Around midday, DeOrr's parents said they drove into Leadore to the staged stop junction store with DeOrr. After that, they returned to Timber Creek Campground. What matters is what happened next, and what each adult says happened next. Investigators have pointed to conflicting accounts about who was watching DeOrr in the minutes before he vanished. According to later reporting that cited law enforcement, the parents went off to explore, leaving DeOrr in Walton's care. Walton reportedly believed DeOrr was with the parents, while Rainvan was away fishing. Then the adults realized DeOrr wasn't where anyone thought he was. A child who had been right there, at a known campsite, was suddenly gone. Jessica Mitchell was able to get a signal, and she called 911 at 2:28 p.m. She described DeOrr as wearing cowboy boots, pajama pants, and a camo jacket. Investigators said there were no other campers near the family at Timber Creek that day. That detail narrowed the possibilities, but it didn't create answers. Search and rescue efforts ramped up fast, and the search became massive. Over the next 48 hours, teams searched on foot and by ATV, with horses and helicopters assisting. K-9 teams were deployed as part of the search operation. Divers also searched water in the area, including the creek and nearby reservoir. Sheriff officials described extremely tight, methodical searches, including grid-style coverage in and around the campsite. Divers also described clearing obstacles like log jams and brush piles while checking the creek. Despite the scale and speed of the search, DeOrr was not found. No confirmed trace of him has been publicly identified as the definitive lead that explains what happened. In the days after the disappearance, DeOrr's parents made public pleas and said they believed someone took him. The case drew wider attention, and agencies including the FBI assisted local investigators. Early on, then Sheriff Lynn Bowerman said investigators did not suspect foul play. But as time passed, law enforcement raised concerns about inconsistencies in the adults' stories and timelines. In January 2016, Bowerman publicly named DeOrr's parents as suspects, saying they were less than truthful in interviews and polygraph tests. He also said their timeline and movements kept changing. Later, other sheriffs stated they did not consider the parents suspects and described everyone at the campsite that day as a person of interest. The reason is straightforward: they were the last known people with DeOrr before he disappeared. Authorities also restricted access to the Timber Creek Campground area during parts of the investigation. The campground is associated in reporting with the Salmon Chalet National Forest area. Over the years, private investigators have worked the case and reached conflicting conclusions about what may have happened. Those competing narratives only deepen the controversy, because none has been proven in court. Investigators have said that bones found in the region and tested over time were determined to be animal remains. Officials have also said evidence has been processed, but it has not produced solid leads that resolve the case. And that's why this story still haunts people. A 2-year-old vanished in daylight from a place that seems searchable, and the outcome is still the same: no confirmed explanation. So what do you think happened at Timber Creek? Was it a tragic accident, an animal encounter, or something more complicated, hidden inside a shifting timeline? If you want more real cases from remote places where answers are hard to find, subscribe for the next story. Because some disappearances don't leave a trail, only questions.